Okay, and you have a microphone on there.
Welcome.
Up. Let me make sure you have it on. Push the button up.
Here we go.
Okay, and wait a second and it should turn on. Okay,
Hello. Is it on yet?
maybe tap it.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I think it's turned on.
Try again.
Here we go. Hello, welcome. Thank you for coming to our District 4 meeting. And you stalwarts, I'm glad you came. I think we have some important things to talk about today, and we'll be glad you're here. Before we start, I want to introduce our board members that are here. And so you'll know who's your representative from your neighborhood. So I'm Beth Hedengren, and I'm Grandview South. I'm
I'm Mike Roberts, representing.
because that's in our district. Then Sorensen doesn't do neighborhood. And we have some more that are coming, so that will be good. First item on the agenda is department checks. Now, how many of you were here last time? That was great. All of the department chair people here. That was so great. We burned them out. They had to come to 5 different meetings late at night, and this round they're not coming. Instead, our good friend Rachel Breeze will be presenting the information and answers to our questions. And I want to tell you a little bit about Rachel. She is our community relations coordinator. This is a new position that they created to coordinate all the 5 different districts. And so she is very much aware of everything that's going on in every district. And she is back and forth with us all the time. And then I just multiply that times 5 and just think about all the work she does to keep us all on our toes and keep us informed. So we really appreciate her. She's our liaison. She keeps us informed. She's our liaison with the city and all the departments. And so we're really grateful to her. She raised in California, but lived in Provo most of her life. And before she came to this position, she was in development services, especially Grandview. So, Rachel, would you now take over and tell us about these department topics that we did?
Yes, so Public Works, as you can understand, are very busy with flood preparation, spring runoff. So we were able to ask them questions and they emailed the information back, but they're not able to be here. They kind of need all hands on deck for that situation. So we had a few questions. The first one was on the Carterville intersection. So let me bring this up. So the question was, what is being done or planned to be done with the intersection of Carterville Road and 1720 North? That's this intersection right here. That's the car wash. This is State Street. So it's that intersection right there. How soon will these plans be implemented? How will the plans improve safety at the intersection? So the answer from Public Works was the Carterville Road 1720 North intersection is one of the projects that has been identified in the Action Safety Plan as an area to be addressed. So they are aware of it. It's on the plan. The Transportation and Mobility Advisory Committee, sometimes called TMAC, is in the process of recommending project priorities from the Safety Action Plan to the City Council. Once the City Council sets the priority, the city will begin bringing projects forward to the City Council for consideration as part of the budget process. So right now, Public Works hasn't done anything on it because it's on this safety plan, but it hasn't been approved and there hasn't been, I guess, a priority set as far as what gets done first. And so they suggested that the best thing to do, if you want to make sure this gets done and gets put towards the top of the priority, is to contact your city council members. Because they're the ones who decide that. When the city council tells Public Works what to do, then they'll do it. But they kind of don't do anything until they get that direction from the city council. At least that's how Public Works explained it to me.
So that would be, we would
So,
contact our city council.
right, so you can email all the city council members at council@provo.org. And that goes to all of them. And you can say, hey, this is a really big priority. It's dangerous. We have a lot of problems with this intersection. You can let them know. You can also contact individual city council members, and I'll show you where that information is. You can also TMAC, that's that committee that recommends project priorities. They have meetings once a month. They're held at lunchtime on Thursdays. I did ask about coming to the meetings and talking to TMAC, and they said that there's no public comment at the TMAC meetings. But those meetings are broadcast on YouTube. You can watch them. I think I did see a spot online where it said where to contact them. You actually contact the Judy Johnson, who's the Secretary of Public Works. But let me kind of show you how to. So if you go to the city website, so go provo.org, and under government, city council, under meet the council, it's gonna have all your city council members and their contact information. So for our area, it is Travis Hoban. And it'll say, here's his email, here's his phone number. If you want to contact him and say, hey, this is a big priority for us. When you get that safety list from TMAC, we would like this to be at the top, you know, and if we get enough people, then they'll kind of put that up higher. I would assume. I'm not sure what the other ones on the list are like, but it certainly wouldn't help letting them know that this is a high priority for you. Okay, so the next, oh, sorry, question.
What are some of the proposals for this? Are they thinking a roundabout, or have they even got that far?
I don't think they've even gotten that far. I haven't heard any. Have you heard anything?
So the action plan, the transportation action plan, I forget what the title of that document is called. That's an action plan that actually, I'll give you a little bit of context. Oh, sorry, my name is Malia. I'm a policy analyst in the council office, so that's why I am. But so that plan, it gets through federal funding, and they have to submit a bunch of plans on how they would improve certain intersections that are high danger or high fatality or high accident. And so then they have to submit those plans, and then it goes back to TMAC as an advisory committee, and they meet with engineers and then members on the TMAC board, which are members of the public. And then they kind of go over cost effectiveness, actually engineering concerns, if there's any recommendations from like federal guidelines or federal feedback when they submitted the action plan. And then they'll come up with a recommendation mostly based on the engineering and the safety aspects of it, because that's how we get their funding on how to improve it. So the action plan might have more info, but also at the TMAC meetings is where they kind of hammer around exactly how that would look from an engineering perspective.
So nothing's been done.
Nothing's been done right now.
When you say an action plan, to me, I guess that's my mentality is, well, there's at least a couple things to look at.
Yeah, no, the action plan has like actionable things that they are looking at, but as far as like work being done on the road, nothing yet.
You can't do that, but you could say, hey, we're thinking of doing, you know, a roundabout, or we're thinking about doing this.
Yeah,
The reality is they haven't even got that far.
no, they have gotten that. That's in the action plan. That's
So
what it is.
what are they, I'm asking specifically, what are they thinking about?
Oh, I haven't read much specifics on that. You can find the action plan
Is it on the website?
online somewhere, and it has all of those specifics, but I haven't read the whole thing.
Online somewhere is not real.
Oh, we can help find it, yeah. I don't know where it is, off the top of my head, but yeah, we can find it for sure.
So when you talked to them, Rachel, they didn't
No,
tell you anything?
no,
about
they didn't
it?
tell me anything. This is cut and paste from what they told me, where it says answer from Public Works. That is, what they gave me. We do have Counselor Travis Hoban on Zoom. And he says, hey, everyone, let me know how I can help. And yeah, and other people, Richard Yelsey also has a comment. He's fascinated in a proposed solution because there's not much empty land in that area, not a lot of room to work with.
That's,
About a year ago, I had Catrice McFay at my home, and that's when we first brought this up. And so I know she would be a listening ear, because if anyone wants to email Catrice specifically, she's a city large. Oh, yeah, there she is. She was very, very cordial and willing to listen to our concerns with that intersection. And so she heard from about half a dozen neighbors. So I think if more neighbors email her, then she'll bring it up at council meeting and maybe help us make it a priority.
Okay, awesome. No, that's fantastic. You're correct. She's one of the citywide counselors. Yes.
You mentioned that one intersection, but are they gonna expand that to State Street also? Because that also is a problem, that whole little section there. State Street and 1720 North is a problem also. So hopefully that they will look at both intersections.
So this one also right here. Okay.
In the last meeting, I don't remember who it was that was talking, but they said they were looking at acquiring that small corner car lot. And that would become part of the plan, whatever it is. So
Oh,
they
okay.
can find that.
Was that Gordon Hay, the city engineer maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Fantastic. Thank you. Were there any other questions on this item? Okay, and we are trying to find that. Oh, we found it. Where's?
I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link.
Okay, so let's go to our next one. That's the path from neighborhood Walmart to the Carterville intersection. And the question was, what are the plans for building a path up the hill behind the neighborhood Walmart? There's a neighborhood Walmart, so a kind of a path going up here. Could a matching grant project enhance the plans for this project? And if the neighborhood contributed labor and matching grant funds, would the path be built quicker? What is the time frame on this? And so the answer from Public Works was, the proposed fiscal year 23-24 city budget includes this path as an unfunded project. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Maybe Malia knows what that means. City staff has met with the property management team about the possibility of placing the path on their property. They indicated they were agreeable if several concerns were addressed, but they didn't tell me what those concerns were. And then this is from the city engineer. I suspect the project could be moved up in the council's priority if there were matching funds or additional resources that could be leveraged to reduce the project costs. This would need to be determined by the city council. So again, engineering is saying it's the city council that decides what projects get done. And again, you can email all the city council members at council@provo.org or go on that Meet the Council website.
So I know there are block grants available. And so my question would be, who in this room would be responsible to take our wishes to the city, hoping they would give us, or does it need to go through one of your offices in the city to get that block money?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if that's in the CDBG area. Is it in there? Okay,
Yeah, most of it is, yeah.
so yeah, that's something that we can look into. We're also gonna be discussing matching grant later in this meeting, contributing, but it would be good to maybe get a community block grant also.
So I guess my question is, would the procedure be to first apply to someone in the city government and then take that before the council? Or does someone here need to go straight to the council to get those funds?
Yeah.
Because I don't know how it works.
Usually you go through Public Works, don't you, with the CDBG grant?
I've contacted them.
Yeah, so contacting Public Works and also Melissa McNally. She's over the CDBG program for Provo. Those would be your two people you would contact about getting the block grant. When I contacted engineering about block grants, they said they weren't really considering anything till about October. But we can check again to see if that was for a different project or if that's for all projects.
I just want to make sure I have definitions. When you talk about a path like that, is that a walking path?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
we
sorry.
actually have a lot of them around here and in Orem, where they connect neighborhoods with stuff. If you go to the Orem Rec Center, you walk around, you'll see it's probably about 6-7 feet wide, and it's got fences on each side, and it just cuts through somebody's property. You go down by the river, between Independence High and the River Trail, there's several of those paths too. I walk a lot, so I kind of jimmy in and out, and I think those things are great to allow access, because you could just go down the hill, but you also have to have the fences way up like 10 feet tall and stuff like that, so that people aren't climbing into somebody's property.
Oh, okay, I see.
The area that the park we're talking about is actually the Parkway owns it. So
Right.
we're not gonna be doing it on any private land. It will be the property of.
Right, I'm just saying that, you know, that's a issue. Most of the time, people will grant you that, as long as you have it fenced off. They even have them on Grandview Hill, there's a couple of them, that allow you to go through from one street to like where old Grandview Elementary is. And like I said, it's like 5-6 feet wide, fence is really high. People don't really mind because it's usually on the edges of their property,
Yeah.
but they want the fence so that people aren't screwing around, jumping in their yard.
Yeah, well, there's, right, and currently there's nobody living right there in this area. We own some property just to the north of this proposed pathway. And we're looking to put something in there.
Right. People are pretty amenable as long as their property is protected, you know.
But I don't think that the fence there in the situation you just described is a great idea. I don't know that it's helpful in it.
Well, it keeps people, I walk around and I see a lot of homeless people all over the place. And they get to different places because they have access like that. So I'm just throwing that out because it does, you know, you don't want to climb up a 10-foot, you know, fence when you can walk somewhere else.
Well, they can walk around the fence right there easily. It's mouthkeeping.
Okay, were there any other comments on this one? I forgot Travis Hoban. Oh, I'm not sure if this was for this item or the one before. He said, I look forward to hearing more from concerned citizens regarding this. I will see what I can find out. And then we had one more engineering item. And this was plans for roads. And the question was, can you give us an update on the plans for 800, 820 North and 2200 North? We do not want these roads to be widened. Is this being considered? The answer from Public Works is 800, 820 North, that's right about here. And the portion of 2230 North are identified in the Transportation Master Plan for future widening. There are no immediate plans to widen either of these roads except for the 820 North Bridge. So that little bridge area will be, I think, in like 2024. That's in the first phase of the Transportation Master Plan. The city has funding to replace the bridge. Oh, here it is, to replace the bridge in 2025. The city will begin the environmental study and the public outreach process before the bridge is designed. And the Transportation Master Plan, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a document that's already been passed by the city council. And And I think it's the 2020 master plan, but I saw that it was adopted in 2018. Does that sound about right? And then it's a big document. I kind of went through and certain, like pages 106 to 110, talk about 2200 North, 820 North from 500 West University Avenue to be done between 2018 to 2024. And then on pages 110 to 114 is phase 2, which is 2025 to 2040, will be the 820 North from Geneva Road to 500 West. And they did say in the document, the transportation master plans are regularly updated, usually about every 5 years.
Have they discussed the idea, I live on Grandview Hill, I live right off 800 North, and I'm fine with this, but are they discussing putting a freeway off ramp there?
I
I'm
mean, I
opening up a
think
can of worms. I honestly don't think it's that bad of an idea, but they're gonna have to really widen it if they're gonna do it.
Oh, Travis? Travis, do you want to go ahead and unmute? Oh, let me see if I can unmute. Okay.
Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I can make a few comments on this as far as potential plans for 800 and 820. There's a few different entities involved in deciding what might happen with 800 and 820. UDOT obviously has a say in this, and hold on, gotta get rid of a little one here. Hold on one second. My goodness. All right, can you guys hear me again? Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the thing. If UDOT wants to put in an off-ramp there, then that would likely lead to 800, 820 needing to be widened. However, UDOT doesn't know yet what they want to do, or if that's the place for an off-ramp, or if they want to do another off-ramp at all. You've got University, you've got Center, and then you've got University again. And so the basic gist is it's going to take kind of a multi entity approach to figure out what's going to happen here. Marcia Judkins and I have had a few meetings. We prefer a plan that would create connector roads, and perhaps what you see in some other cities where you have these small off ramps, essentially, that allow you to get off on a frontage road that then leads to connectors. So as opposed to creating this huge, massive off ramp, where you might not necessarily need to have one, the idea would be to create these smaller off ramps that lead to a frontage road that then connects to east-west access. The reason that Marcia and I prefer that plan is because if you're going to take 800 north, 820, 800 north and widen it to the extent that it would need to be widened, you're going to blow up an entire neighborhood there in the Rivergrove area. And so that's going to cost $100 million to buy those homes. And let's be honest, UDOT hasn't exactly given us amazing off ramps anyways. I don't know if we want to trust them to build another one. I mean, Center Street is a mess. University isn't great. I don't know where those guys went to school, but my personal opinion is they did not do a really good job there. So Marcia and I are kind of lobbying for an alternate plan. And Marcia has met with UDOT up at the state, and she does have their ear. And so I'm kind of working on the city angle a little bit. Marcia's working on the state angle. The city, and when I say the city, you've got the mayor, you've got other interested entities, stakeholders. they kind of like the idea of widening 800 regardless of whether or not there's an off ramp there, because they want to create kind of a straight shot to BYU. And so there is kind of a force there pushing for that. But UDOT's going to dictate a lot of this. And so that's why Marcia is working hard up at the Capitol to try to have their ear to think about some other plans. She also is working with the city, Provo city engineer as well. She's got his ear as well. So that's kind of the places at. COVID, there's some COVID funds. You all know about all these funds that came in from COVID. And that has kind of whet the city's appetite to maybe use certain funds for things that could be kind of, I don't know, billed as like, oh, generating economic development, right? An east-west corridor that would help with economic development and such. Any case, there's no decisions that have been made yet. And it's going to be kind of a long, drawn out process to try to, over the next probably 3 to 5 years, to try to figure out a good solution for that. I am interested what people's opinion are. So, I mean, I'll just be blunt. Obviously, those in the Rivergrove area, they don't want to see that widen because they don't want to see their neighborhood become that major thoroughfare. Then you have, Grandview, where I'm at there. The people I know on Grandview, they're like, hey, we don't want it up here. We don't want our roads widened. So that's why I think kind of increasing the number of connectors so people can go different routes. It actually probably would benefit the Grandview side, the Grandview aspect of the equation. Because right now everybody comes down Grand and goes down to 800 or up to 2000. And they're coming through, the Grandview area to get to those two roads. And so kind of spreading that pain a little bit through more connectors on the south side and on the north side, I think would help. All right, so that's kind of a high level overview of the complexity of the situation. We need to continue to weigh in our opinions so that everybody kind of knows what the residents want to see happen, as opposed to just what some engineers up the state think is the right thing. Hopefully that helps a little bit.
Widening of the road. If they're gonna widen 820 north, because I live on Grandview Hill and I'm fine either way. But if they're gonna widen 800 to 820, are they gonna make it 2 lanes one way and 2 lanes the other, so it's a 4-lane thing? And then if they do that, what are they gonna do with, they're doing the bridge is only one way each way. What are some of the thoughts going on as far as the bridge and how wide they're gonna actually make the 800 to 820?
Can I weigh in for just a second?
Yeah.
I had a meeting with the mayor today, and about 3 weeks ago, so she attends MAG meetings. I don't know if any of you are familiar with that. That's where the funding comes from for these projects from the state. She sits on the board for that. She has tabled the discussion. There's no more, according to her, there's no more discussion about road widening on 820 North. And since she's pulled out of that, it's also pulled UDOT out of the discussion. It's not permanent. It means, this could be kicked down the road another 10, 20 years. We don't know for sure. But I feel confident in what she's saying, that there's no more talk or discussion of widening 820 North.
So that's
200. I live on 820 North, so I didn't ask about 2200. So sorry.
So that's a dead issue, but they're gonna have to do something with that bridge.
So the bridge is happening, but that's where she's meeting with Sport and Hate, who's the city engineer, to see what the plans are
Okay,
for that. And
I'm fine either way. I just,
we have the same thing, because no matter how they do the bridge, how they design it, it's ahead of the state for 820 North. If they design it as a 4-lane, then those of us who live on 820 North, either side, we're screwed.
you're done.
Yeah. But if it's a 2-lane
Uh-huh.
bridge with 5 lanes protected by whatever, then that helps keep 820 North as it is.
The way it is. Okay, yeah.
I want to make a more of a big picture comment. Some of the reasons they give for wanting to widen 820 North, 800 North are kind of moot. One of the things you get from That's a possibility when you add a freeway interchange, is a possibility for economic development. But the area right around where you'd have to put it on Andrew North is already pretty developed. There's condos, there's a school that can't be moved, there's railroad tracks, so it shoots that argument down. We're not gonna get the economic development from it. I've talked with the BYU representative here. They are not requesting this. It's not something BYU wants. BYU doesn't want to be a commuter school, and, you know, their main student population lives right around the campus, and bringing in tons of extra traffic just makes it more dangerous. Their original proposal for the 800 North corridor had the 5-lane road all the way to 900 East, including south of campus, which is the busiest pedestrian area in the whole state. And in the bigger picture, I know people want cars diverted away from Grandview or wherever, diverted away from different neighborhoods and see this, but if we get down the path of saying, we're just gonna build as much infrastructure for cars, so they have the priority over other communities, there's gonna be a road widening project on 1460 North in the future, and on 1760, I don't remember the name, but we're never gonna be able to build enough road space to handle the coming growth. The road widening project, the last time I looked at the MAG budget, was something like $250 million, which is just a crazy, that was in their pre-COVID money. That's the same amount it was cost to extend the front runner to Payson. And think about how much we could bring more people and lessen traffic if we were more focused on projects like that instead of the road extensions.
Thank you, Rick. This is actually,
I'm from the North Park
Chase.
neighborhood, yeah.
Chase, the representative from the North Park area.
We have another question in the back.
I don't know how much it's contributed, but it feels me, I also disagree that BYU is the true explanation. Provo High has now moved over to the west side of town, and how many people are now traveling over there, and all of the housing developments over there, the homes, the condos, the apartments over there are contributing to all the increased traffic on 800 North in my estimate. And I would rather see more thoughtful community planning as far as building condos and homes and building up neighborhoods out there to help restrict the traffic on 800 North.
I think that the answer for West Side, as far as east-west connection, is to build more amenities on the west side. So not every single trip someone from West Provo makes has to be across the freeway into the center of town. So they can have like a doctor's office or a bank or something, or restaurants, a grocery store on. So we're not, we don't have to cross the whole town. I used to live on Grandview by Westridge Elementary, and at the time I had a sister who lived in a apartment building by 7 Peaks, and so I drive that occasionally. I thought, oh man, I wish there was really some other way to get there faster. But now that I live kind of in the middle of that, I can see, if we want to build roads and prioritize speed of traffic through all the neighborhoods, well, all our neighborhoods wind up worse. And I think it's important to remember that there's like 70,000 people between West Ridge and 7 Peaks. And those people are all affected negatively if I have to drive, as fast as I possibly can through the middle.
I had a comment here. I move in and I live up, but many years ago, if you look at the corner of Geneva and Center, they knocked all those houses down. And they promised that they were gonna make markets and whatever. Does everybody know what I'm talking about? We're the old. What's ever gone on with that? I mean, they knocked down, I'd say 3 or 4 streets right by Lamplighter and all that other stuff. Has anybody ever, because we talked about markets on the west side and everything else.
That's where Smith was supposed to go, but from what I've heard from the Economic Development Department, Smith was supposed to build on that corner. They decided not to, but they still own the land, which scared away any other supermarket. Because they felt like they couldn't compete with Smith, so if they were to come in, nothing was to stop Smith to all of a sudden build, and they wouldn't want to compete, and so that's kind of been a whole thing that's been going on for like 20 years.
Yeah, beautiful, nice, big area for business development, particularly a market. But I'm glad, I had never known that, that's why I wanted to ask.
They just had a study that Smith that said that they didn't want to build because there's not enough growth there for them to build.
No,
That
they're crazy,
That just came out. They just came out with that.
they're idiots.
They would know more than anybody else because they're huge. Kroger's huge, so there's something that they don't want to do it.
Are they not selling the property either?
Probably not. I'm sure in the future they'll probably build. Who knows? I don't know. But that was just public. That was just came out just a few months ago.
Right, I do know that economic development and the mayor and a few other people meet weekly trying to get a supermarket on the west side. It is, I mean, we can't force people to come here, and like you said, they keep saying there's not the roofs or, you know, the population or whatever it is. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but I know they're trying, but we can't.
That's such a prime
force.
piece because it's on two major streets, and I've always wondered, because I moved up to California 30 years ago, and I go, man, I don't understand why they knocked all these things down, and all of a sudden, there's nothing. I mean,
The
it's been
neighbors
an
didn't
empty
want it.
lot.
The neighbors kiboshed it. They didn't want it when they first came with it, which I thought was stupid.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sorry,
that's how it
Frank,
started.
all that.
Fascinating. This is fascinating, and I can see that, that
That's not.
this is all very
Maybe,
complicated.
yeah, tap at the
From the
top,
bottom.
there you go.
Excuse me. This is all very complex, and we need to work with our city council members, and we need to be on top of this, and we need to let them know that this is important. This intersection at Carterville, the pathway going up the hill, and the issue of widening 800. These are important issues. We will stay with this and we'll work with the city people to let them know how important it is to us. But now we're going to talk about something that we have a little more control over. And that is our matching grant that we're allowed to have for our city, for our district. We get, and let me just tell you about what the matching grant is. They're called neighborhood district matching grants. And before we became a district, every neighborhood got a matching grant, but now only the district does. So we have to do some deciding about what we're going to do. Okay, what is it? It's $5,000 matching, $5,000 in matching funds for each neighborhood district each year. And the district, us, we provide the match not through money, but through volunteer labor. By doing the work that we can to help it along. And so we put in labor that adds up to approximately $5,000, and the city gives us $5,000 for a project of our choice. We apply, we consider possible projects in all the neighborhoods of the district, and this, I think, is a major advantage of the district system, is that we consider all the district, all the neighborhoods in the district, and we work together to find the best project for our district. We complete an application for each project. There's a little sample of the project application. The district executive board, that's us, with our name tags on, review the applications, make recommendations, and submit the complete applications and recommendations to the neighborhood coordinator, Rachel, and the city council executive director accepts or rejects the board's recommendation, subject to direction by the council chair. So that's the process it goes through. And then it's administered through the executive board's secretary, that would be Erin, and who works with the neighborhood coordinator, Rachel. And the funds not expended by the end of the fiscal year are returned to the council office. Next. So these are some projects that we've done. There's Provo Lions Park. Aaron headed this up and they put in this great walking path all around Lions Park. In the summer, I go almost every day and walk that. And this shows how everyone in the neighborhood came together to work on it. The Rivergrove neighborhood and Grandview South, we all worked together on that. And then also, we've had this great project for Grandview South entry area. Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you that Mindy Jefferson and Richard Jassy and Mel Smith are all on Zoom. Anyway, they all worked hard on the south entry area, which is beautiful. It used to be just weeds, and now we have grass and benches, and everybody gathers there and stops on their lots, and it's so nice. We put in the work, and they gave us the money. Lions Park lights, we have these great solar lights going along that wonderful path, so it's safe at night. So just lots of possibilities of what we could do. So what do we want to apply for this year? And this is very important because the deadline is June 30th. Does that mean it has to be all approved and the money funded by June 30th?
Normally, we would like it, we're gonna try to see if we can do a little bit of leeway this year since it's our first year going in, but normally June 30th is the deadline to kind of get everything done.
Okay. Okay, so
Do you mean done, the project done, or the planning and improvement?
Usually, at least getting the funding and everything done, but they can do carryover if needs be, like if you have problems getting supplies in or something like that.
Yeah, so when does the funds, if they're not used, how long after the June 30th? Or when
I
is
think
that?
if you don't have anything in place, like if you don't have an application that's been approved, then those.
But if you have the application approved, you're working your project, how much time do they give you? A year. A year until May.
Okay, so we just need,
31st of the next year.
to get it approved by June 30th.
But you could also probably carry it over. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of on a base by base. Because if you're really motivated and we're like, oh, we got a late start, we couldn't get the materials in, then they'll let me carry over. If you're just kind of like, oh, we're not sure what we're doing, we don't know what's going on, then they're not gonna let you carry it over.
Anyway, now Aaron and Leah, are you involved in this? They're gonna talk to us about some potential projects and also solicit your ideas for projects that we do. And we need something sort of easy to get going with this year.
I will say this, another district was saying it's too late to do something this year, and I said, well, District 4 is gonna do it, and they said, well, who's heading that? I'm like, maybe Aaron Scavlin, and they said, well, that's why they're gonna get it done by June 30th. Aaron Scavlin's heading it.
Here.
Feel a lot of pressure.
know, no pressure at all.
So, as a district leadership group, I don't even know what executive board is that?
Yes.
Yeah, we discussed the feedback that we got at last month's meeting, the various ideas that were presented from different residents in these neighborhoods. And, we talked about their merits, there weren't any demerits, but just kind of strategically how we might proceed. We discussed these various options.
But some of those options were like paths that hadn't been finished, concrete paths.
Yeah.
Grandview Hill, just making that look
Yeah,
better.
yeah, so the south part of the Grandview Hill, sidewalks that are missing particularly, well, in all of our neighborhoods, but North Park in particular, we think could use some love in terms of walkability. And then we decided to, as an executive board, that we wanted to apply for a grant this fiscal budget year to fund this Carterville Parkway Village Plaza Trail. that was just discussed, earlier. And some of you were not here last month, so we want to explain this project to you. And most importantly, we want to take any questions that you have. And we need, as a neighborhood, as residents, to vote whether we want to apply for this project or not. This is a democracy. Our executive board, we're not, dictating what happens. We need your vote to proceed. So I am going to turn the mic over to Leah because I don't live in the Carterville neighborhood. That said, I've been eyeing this project for over a decade, thinking, wow, this would be a great project for the Carterville neighborhood to do. Leah, on the other hand, lives in this neighborhood and she really understands the value of it. So I'm going to turn the mic over to her and she can.
I talk loud enough without.
We need to hear that beautiful accent.
Thank you so much. So just because of the time consideration, and we don't want to miss out on this matching grant, we have decided we'd like to move forward with the actual and then we'll consider the other projects for our next matching grant. But this one has been discussed the most, so that's the one that we're hoping to get your vote on and to be able to move forward with. So they're currently, I can't even tell where I am on this map. I need the other picture.
I can orient people. So this is that intersection that we were just talking about at the very beginning of the meeting is right here.
Okay.
And this is State Street. This is the Carterville Road. And so once you cross the bridge here over University Parkway, you're now in Orem. Okay. So this is
see the path on this.
no, we can. This is the Carterville Hill, the Grandview, or the Carterville Hill.
Actually, Upper Carterville.
Yeah, Upper Carterville, and then this is Lower Carterville. So the neighborhood Walmart is right here.
Okay.
Are you oriented now?
I'm slightly oriented. I mean, I live right near Carterville Park, but I was just a lot more familiar with that last map. But currently there is a path there. It's just a dirt path. There's one path that goes down and it's very, very steep, which I think that's on private property, but there's another diagonal path which is on land that belongs to the parkway.
This is what it looks like now.
Yeah, so as you can see, there is a pathway, but it is just unsafe. And so we have residents of Carterville that live at the bottom that want to be able to get to the top without walking all the way around, or if they're, seniors, it's quite unsafe and quite dangerous. So we're hoping to be able to pave that. You can see it is all vacant land. So that's why we totally not need the fence because it's not backing up onto anybody's property. Yeah, so it is just doing the path. Oh, here's the picture where you can see the angle that line there is roughly where we want the path to be going. And what we're hoping to do is match that maybe with donate the money. Is that going too far? Donate the money to Provo City to do this path on our behalf, and then we can beautify it and help maintain it. So one of the concerns that the Parkway Property Management had that own this land is who's going to maintain it. So if we are willing as a neighbourhood to be maintaining this path, we are hoping to apply for the grant to get this path done so it's safe and usable, so the people at the top of the hill, they could walk down and get groceries if they need to, save money on gas, get to transportation. The people at the bottom of the hill can make their way up to the top. It's being used regardless of it being safe or not, but it's going to be safe and used a lot more if it is actually done well. And there's no homeless people there or anything. I think there has been at times, but it's a safe place to be walking through.
What are you proposing as far as width? Are you gonna put gravel on it, or what are you thinking about?
So the strategy here, you remember, Gordon Haig's comments at the beginning of the meeting in regards to our question about this project. He said, this project is an unfunded project for the 23-24 year. And it would help if there were matching funds and other funding available to help make this project possible. And he said ultimately, the funds beyond those matching funds that will need to be made available will be made available by the city council, okay? So our strategy here is to apply for this grant, to receive $5,000, and then basically to say to the city, hey, we have a $5,000 grant, please use it to make improvements to this pathway. $5,000 is not enough, but they will see how serious we are about this. And we have to match this $5,000 grant with our volunteer labor. And some of that volunteer labor, Rachel, if you could go back, might be used to make some, actually one more slide, to make some minimal improvements to the existing pathway. But we don't want to sink any materials and real money into something that the city is going to come, when they actually build a proper pathway, that they're going to destroy. Okay, and so that's the strategy is to make some minimal improvements, and this will help us to match the grant, but also to organize some projects elsewhere in our neighborhoods that can be done that won't cost much money. They'll just be things that we can generate our matching grant, our matching labor for. And then we can say, hey, city, look how serious we are about this. We've gotten this matching grant, please use it and come in and say to the city council, please allocate more money to design a pathway. What that looks like, I'm not exactly sure, but ideally it should be something that is ADA compliant. That means that it's compliant with the American Disabilities Act. So people who are not, all that able-bodied can get up and down this hillside. There's folks who live on Lower Carterville, who go to the church up there, and including a woman that you told me about last month, who to get to church because she's in her 60s, she doesn't feel comfortable walking up this pathway, so she walks all the way around. And so we want a pathway that will be a pathway for everyone. It'll connect people from Lower Carterville to Upper Carterville, and as we discussed, the people in Upper Carterville will be able to get down to the commercial area, to the neighborhood Walmart, to the UBX station. So it will be a wonderful boost to people's quality of life. So that's what our hope is, what our kind of strategy is for this. And Beth is looking at her watch, so.
And then we'll also just be looking at a crossing as well to go across to the path to make it safe. And just to repeat what Aaron said about the matching grant labour doesn't need to be for this particular project. We can do other projects to match the grant and to make the other districts better as well with our labour.
Yeah, Rachel.
Okay, we have a comment online. This is Richard Galsey of the Grandview North neighborhood. If everything can't be worked out with the property owner, are we just foregoing the matching grant this year?
No. We could use this. I don't know if the city will be able to work things out with the property owner, come up with the design and do all of this by next May. But I think, given the circumstances, we could carry over this money. Gordon mentioned that there's issues to be worked out. What those are not clear, but it seems like they're confident enough that those can be worked out, but it's an unfunded, project.
Yeah, let me double check with Justin. He's our intrepid leader who is the one who actually okays this. Now, if we're giving money to Public Works to do a project and they're not able to do it in that time frame, is that okay to be carried over? Or do we just give it to them and then that kind of ends it there?
That's a great question. So I haven't been a part of a project that has been of this scale, to be quite honest. The guidance that we've given neighborhoods is that, sorry. So the guidance that we've given neighborhoods is that dollars should be extended in the fiscal year. To be quite honest, the carryover process makes things quite difficult. And so we are attempting to avoid that if at all possible. And being that this is a larger scale project, I know I have not given an answer, so,
We'll do all we can to finish it within a year.
Just to answer that question online, so it's not a personal property owner that we need permission from. We're trying to keep it on the property of the parkway. And the parkway property manager has said there's a couple of questions that they have, but they seem to be on board. So that was just about maintaining it. Maybe there's some legal aspects of if there's injuries or something, but it's not actually an individual. We're trying to keep it on the parkway.
Any other questions? Yeah, this is just very preliminary concept.
Just so you know, it's gonna have to,
Yeah,
pathway's gonna have to be a little steeper, because you can't extend it out that far.
yeah, to probably switch back, yeah.
We actually don't have those pictures from the council that you've sent to us before that they've already worked on it. You know, you've shown us pictures from the council that they've actually got.
I mean, the council has discussed it. And about if it's even possible with Public Works. I don't know if they've gone beyond that. Richard Yelsey is also just reiterating that we'd have to make sure that we have it signed from the property owner
Yeah,
on that.
so,
So now, so we need to bring this to a vote, I think.
I have a question first. On the $5,000 that's now allocated to the district, what was the previous allocation made to neighborhoods?
Well, then it would have been the plan.
Okay, so it's always been $25,000 total. And so it was kind of a first come, first serve for the neighborhoods until that 25,000 was gone. So there's still the same dollar amount. It's still $25,000, but now instead of first come, first serve, it's each district gets $5,000.
if they apply.
If they apply. And honestly, before most neighborhoods didn't apply, we never ran out of money.
We used a lot of
Neighborhoods
it.
don't.
Yeah.
Rivergrove.
Rivergrove did a lot. Then they got us, Grandview South going. Yeah.
So is it possible these people who said, oh, it's too late, we can't do anything, and we use their $5,000?
That's a good question. Jesse.
So,
And we have been toying with the idea because some districts feel like $5,000 isn't enough money to do anything. Justin brought up in the last meeting that instead of $5,000 per district per year, doing $25,000 per district once every 5 years. So you just kind of like, this year is District 1, this year is District 2, or whoever gets their thing in, and then you have a big $25,000 one. That's just something he pushed
I'm
out.
okay with that as long as we get the first dibs and we can do this. With that.
But yeah, but that's a good question, Justin. So if it's something where we're just giving Public Works money because it's unfunded, that's something we could do really quick before the June 30th deadline, right? As long as we get our volunteer hours, which are $10 an hour per person.
not even minimum
Who works
wage,
for
minimum
10
wage.
bucks an hour?
I guess I would say the theory is that the funds are expended. Just transferring it to another department doesn't expend the funds, it just turns it into a carryover for a different department, so. I think we need to reach out to Public Works and get their thoughts on this, just because there hasn't been, to my knowledge, a project proposed like this before, so. Where funds would be going to, from the matching grant program to another department. For such a large project, there have been projects in the past. And again, it might take multiple years in order to get lined up, or at least multiple fiscal years. There's been projects in the past involving specifically parks. But it's expend all those dollars, for example, help them purchase playground equipment,
Concrete and Lions Park.
there you go. Picnic tables, benches, smaller things like that, but this being, I know they have a rough estimate as far as dollar amount to get this done, but.
What is that?
It's currently in the CIP for $70,000.
Yeah.
So I'm sure every day it goes up. I don't know what the cost of concrete right now is, but I know it's not cheap, so.
It helps.
Well, with all of these things in mind, yes,
I think this is a great idea. I've done very, very concerned with safety that's down here. I know that it thinks that there's no problem or anything, but honestly, I just still really worry about the safety. We've lived in the neighborhood probably longer than just about anybody in this room right now. And we have a lot of children that go down and back and forth. And once you open up something like this, it will create more traffic, yes, but sometimes desirable, sometimes not desirable. So I think we need to have, at least have a good say on how that is being built, Nina.
And what the liability is gonna be.
yeah, yeah.
As a person with disabilities, I would like to say that I don't think it is necessary that this path be approached and followed through with wheelchairs, for instance. It can be just a walking path. And, obviously I'm not speaking for all people with disabilities, but it doesn't seem to me that every path, in national parks, not every path is for wheelchairs. So I'm sure that that brings the price up a lot more if you're trying to do that. And it doesn't seem to me, especially given the grade that people are going to be going in wheelchairs on these paths. I think it's walkers and maybe some bikers too, and maybe scooters.
All right, any more discussion on this?
I think that this path was proposed would be a lot better than what's there right now. Because the homeless people do live there. We own that property, we've thrown them out of there over and over. And property next to it, that property. So I think something more structured tends to discourage them from hanging out there, and more traffic would discourage them possibly. Lighting would discourage them. The one idea I have about the lighting, if we are allowed to build a house in that property next to this path, then we want the lighting so it wouldn't, affect the home. But, yeah, I think that would be a lot better than what is there currently.
Well, given the time frame that we have, with this June 30th date, do we want to vote to try to go ahead with this? Now, an alternative plan we discussed at our meeting was a stretch of sidewalk in North Park. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. I have a question. Is North Park the one that's underneath, so on the east side of Grandview Hill?
That's Rivergrove is in between. North Park is south of the river, and Rivergrove is north of the river.
Okay.
So that's kind of house. I sent some pictures to you,
Oh.
Rachel.
if I get
in
those
like a
pictures.
slideshow, because I just took a couple, I went out there where we were looking at today and took a few pictures of.
See where we're at. I don't, did you send those?
I sent it just like an hour or two
Oh.
ago.
No,
You know,
I was setting up chairs.
Oh, well, if you can go to Exchange Park on like 900 North and 800 West. Further south, a little further east too, that's Lions Park, I think, so head to the east from there. Other direction.
Oh, sorry, east. Which one's that? Is that one Exchange?
Nope,
No,
keep
that's
following,
right.
it's on the, keep going other way.
Oh, other way?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay. Right
there we go.
So this is the Exchange Park here. You see the river trail.
Oh, yeah.
This is,
Oh, what happened? What? Oh. Hang on. We will try this again. Come on. There we go.
but we were talking a few weeks ago about if this other project, the walking trail in Carterville, is just too much to get our hands around. There's a few spots. We're looking for spots that were like much smaller scale things, where it'd be real easy to limit our scope and still have an impact on stuff. Okay, so this is Exchange Park here. This is the parking lot. I have a lot to say about this parking lot. I'll save it for later because they just repaved it and doubled the size. It's a whole acre now, 130 something spaces. I'll talk about that later, but you can see these sidewalks leading to the park. They all stop at the end of the block and there's no ramps. The curbs are tall, so all these four particular spots on the sidewalk are spots that could be improved in a real small scale and would make a difference for people from the neighborhood.
And, it's improved in what way? What do you mean?
If we were able to install a regular bike ramp at the end of the sidewalk that went down to street level. Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Cause it's hard to tell here, but the sidewalk just stops here, 10 feet short of the road to the park. So those four, whenever I walk over here, I don't know what the deal is with that, but those are just some smaller scale things. There's not any sidewalk along 900 North, except for, let's see if I walk here again. Is it gonna?
I know it's gonna be weird.
So this is the only sidewalk on this road in front of this one house. There's no other sidewalk. But if we were just able to complete the sidewalk from here to the road, I think that would be a good, small, simple project that would.
And there's not a sidewalk on the other.
No, there's not a sidewalk on either side of 900.
Who owns the property? Do you have to get permission from each of the
So
houses that are there?
It'd all be in city right of way still.
Okay, so there's no issue with legal things.
I'm not the legal department, so I'm not gonna say absolutely not, but there shouldn't be.
Okay. Any discussion on this project? And there are no crosswalks to get across 900 North into the park?
There's not, it's not a super high traffic road, it's mostly only people going to the park, because there's a cul-de-sac at the end there, where there's an entrance to the river trail, and that bridge is only a pedestrian bridge now.
Yeah, this is just a teeny tiny bridge.
You know, decades and decades ago, it was the main road to West Provo on 900 North, but we have 800 North bridges there now. With these little improvements we could make, the city's decision to pave this whole area all here as one giant sheet of black asphalt now is, you know, they got rid of a bunch of trees, you know, it's So that the new parking lot there is now, you could fit 6 tennis courts on it, you could fit, all the, a whole soccer field. Could be fit there instead of the parking that's not needed, but,
But what we do need is some sidewalks.
we do need those little.
Finish the sidewalk and at least do these, this little bit, and then possibly all along here.
Yeah, I think just connecting into the road there would be a good one.
Just right here and here.
Mhm.
And
Cause I
that,
know sidewalks are expensive and we probably don't have enough with just $5,000 at a time to do the whole work.
but we could just do that, and that seems like a real doable, small project that we could do.
So, we need to vote, right, Rachel?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, you should ask to see if anyone else has any other ideas they
Does
want to throw out.
anybody else have any other ideas for this year?
A question on liability, who's responsible for snow removal on the trail? And if someone slips on ice, breaks the bone, who is it?
That's a real good question. Paul asks about liability on the trail down Carterville.
But, well, the deal is, people could fall right now,
Yeah.
because it's being used by dozens of people, all right? So the same liability that's there now would be for the same property owner if there's a trail or there isn't.
But I'm sure that's something city
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah, it's not that it won't be discussed, it's just that it's not gonna make a difference. If they're already owners of the property, it won't make any difference as far as liability goes, right? You either are the owner or you aren't the owner.
Yeah.
And if Walmart is the owner, then theoretically, Walmart is the one that's legally responsible.
Unless they grant that portion, that's the path to the city, and then the city would be like.
Right.
And
But does
so,
Walmart actually own it? I thought Parkway owns it.
well, I don't know.
It's a different property owner.
Yeah, so it is the Parkway Plaza. No,
It's not Walmart.
not Walmart. All right, yes.
The materials, we didn't talk about really the construction of this path, but is it gonna be concrete? What's the idea? Concrete or?
It would be a hard service. Yeah.
Or asphalt?
I'm sure. It would be, because the city is, I know Lynn said it's okay if it's not ADA compliant, but the city generally needs to, if they're building a pathway, they have to. It has to be ADA. Yeah, it has to be ADA compliant. So it would be probably 6 to 8 feet wide. It would probably be switchbacks. It would be, I think it would be constructed very nicely. I mean, $70,000 is gonna get us a really nice pathway. Yeah. And it would be a wonderful, it would give people options, about how to get around. A lot more people options about how to get up and off that hill than they have right now. So my view is, let's think big and go big. There's some issues that need to be worked out, but let's have confidence that we in the city can do this.
What about safety in the winter time? I think of the ice. There, so it's not gonna.
We'll deal with that. The bridge will cross when we get there. Yeah.
Why not asphalt?
Maybe it'll be asphalt, I don't know, but
Is it cheaper?
it is, but $70,000, let's get a good quality. Yeah, asphalt doesn't,
Isn't cement what they have at Lions Park?
yeah, we have some in Lions Park.
Yeah.
So the city.
And
So
it-
then it's 100, isn't it like at least 100 steps?
Yeah. it's-
Like a lot.
That is.
I want to say one good thing about the Carterville and having an official trail there is that you can install like good signage, let people know that the trail's there, you know, the way it is now, you can't really.
Yeah.
So just to let people know, more people know. People do that.
Finish the South Grandview Hill or landscaping.
It's an issue.
There is that little bunny house.
The bunny house we love.
Bunny's been missing the last little.
You know, So, yeah, that's another thing that we've talked about doing, that we've run into difficulties, with the city, differences of opinion about how that should be finished. And so, that will be an ongoing issue.
If you finish the sidewalks down in 900 by the exchange park, how do you donate the labor to match the?
Well, I think that just like the labor was donated in Lions Park to do those sidewalks, labor can be donated to prepare the sidewalk there.
Yeah, so the labor doesn't have to be specific to this project, so we could have like a cleanup day, and say we get, 300 hours of cleanup day volunteers, they would count that as $3,000 donation and to match. Or I think, this is how it worked before, I'm not exactly sure, but if you volunteer skilled labor, you get it at a much higher rate. So if you have someone who does concrete
Right.
to help you, then
They would get it at their normal
yeah.
rate, or if they're donating tools or something like that, then that can go towards.
All right, we need to do a vote, because we need to get going on this. I guess the question is, do we want to go ahead and see what we can do about that Carterville Road, Carterville path? Do we want to do the smaller project in North Park? Or do we want to say, we'll try to do the Carterville one, if that falls through, we'll do North Park?
I actually like the third one. Make a decision, if it doesn't work, then do the other one.
Okay,
And can we also try to get some of that block grant money as well?
oh yeah, that, I was gonna
Because-
say something about that.
Because I think somebody could.
Because Carterville neighborhood, almost all of Carterville neighborhood is available for that, that other project.
CDBG.
CBDG, yes, sir.
Mentioning North Park, where's North Park project?
That's that sidewalk.
That's this one on 900 North by Exchange Park. It's the neighborhood is called North.
The neighborhood is called, it's not the same as North Park. It is confusing, that's a move. All right, let's vote. There's three options. One is go ahead for the Carterville project, for the Carterville Hill project. I mean. And where up? Okay, three projects. I think we should get a little funding for like. Carterville Hill project.
Only.
Only. The North Park sidewalk project only. Or try for the Carterville Park project, if that falls through, we'll do the North Park project. That's the one you want. Okay, we have two to vote. Number one, Carterville Hill.
Only.
The North Park sidewalks, only. Carterville, try for the Carterville project, if that falls through, we'll do the North Park sidewalks. Alrighty. So that's our vote. All right, did we get that recorded?
The secretary is supposed to be recording this.
Yes, raise your hands, Karen.
I think you only had 1-0.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the one that people get.
How about online?
We have two online, both for the third option.
And the total online,
So I think
no,
that's-
total for the third one is,
Oh, there's 16 in here, or 2.
And there's 4 online, but only 2 voted.
so 18. Okay, all right, thank you.
There was one just for, what were you for? Carterville.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't proceed until you get a commercial estimate on the cost of small business.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to do it.
Yeah. All right, okay, last item on our agenda. Oh, but we can use maybe that block grant money, that other money for the path too.
Maybe, we'll have to talk to Public Works and see exactly how that works.
Okay, because that would help too. All right, public comments. The time has come for public comments.
At the end of that meeting last month where the mayor was here, those of you that were here, I went up and spoke to one of the department heads and put a bug in his ear saying, we really need some of these big, huge limbs that are overhanging Carterville Road, cut down. And I just want to mention this so that we put it on our agenda, like in the fall, maybe.
Yeah.
He said, right now, like we talked about early in the meeting, we're so busy with flooding. But he said, I promise you, by the end of the summer, we will work on that. So we just need to follow up with him and make sure it's on our agenda to see if they did do something by the end of the summer. Because to me, it's a liability to whoever owns those trees, but I mean, you can see so many dead branches up in those trees. It's so scary in a windstorm to drive down Carterville Road.
I think that what we need to do is just keep reminding them, just keep reminding them. So thank you for saying that. For anything that we need to keep telling the city people, and we need to tell the city council.
He was very agreeable.
Yeah.
Being able to.
Okay, any other public comment? This is your chance. Okay,
I wanna,
and tell us your name and what neighborhood.
I'm Steve Grant, I live in Grandview. I wanna give a shout out to the people who cleaned up the river. I walk on the river trail. They did a great job of getting the stuff out so the water can flow. I walk up and down that trail and I saw them working feverishly, removing stuff, so that's good. I just wanted to say that, because sometimes we don't give credit when people are doing a good job, so.
Thank you. I'm glad we got that on record. Good. Yeah, they did a great job on that. River's high. Other public comment. Here's your chance. Yes, Eric.
I'd encourage everyone, all 18 people, and even the one that voted just for the Carterville project, to immediately this weekend, send an email to the council and say, hey, we just voted for this project. Now it's your turn to fund this project. We need another $65,000. They have that. So we need to get them to step up and do what needs to be done to make this improvement.
Well, Rachel, can you send to all of us that link for the city council? Thank you.
Is Travis still?
He is still on.
Does he have anything to say?
Travis, Councilor Hoban, do you have anything to say?
He's on to bed.
Maybe.
Great. Thank you. Any other comments? Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being in.
I wanted to ask about the project on Grandview Hill. I think you're doing a great job. Do we have any timeline when it's gonna be finished and exactly what they're gonna do? They're asphalting everything.
Oh, I know. Isn't that great? Rachel, do you know anything about that? They are taking, it's Grand Avenue, isn't it?
Grand Avenue.
And 1500 West, they're gonna re-asphalt and they're putting in the ramps at each, at the end of each sidewalk.
Yeah, there's been new cement put in,
Yeah.
new,
It's
things like that.
really going to be wonderful.
Are they gonna do the side streets or are they strictly going to do the major 1750?
Just what they done.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Let me show you where you can go online to find that information. So on the provo.org website, go to Public Works, just click on Public Works, scroll down. And there's a click here to view a map of Public Works construction projects. And this is for anyone to look at if you're ever curious about what's going on. And it's going to tell you what's going on right now, what's going on in the future. And so I think, let me see.
Is this strictly like for a year? Like you have the actual the plan for whatever year we're in right now?
This calendar year,
That's what I meant. And when is year to year? Is it September, or is it fiscal year, or?
It's because our construction season is during the warmer years, it's from spring until fall.
What I mean is like budget and everything else, do they run it physical?
So the budget year is July first to June
Okay.
30th.
There's so many different deals there.
Okay, so I thought they would have it on here because they have the other roads and
Yeah.
stuff, but usually, oh, no, that's not it. But usually if you click on this, it'll kind of tell you what's going on, who's in charge, where they're, the current progress and when they're thinking it's gonna be done.
They've got the 800 north up to the hill, they've already got it striped.
There it is.
Oh, there we go.
That's it. But it doesn't include Grand Avenue for some reason.
Yeah, it's not showing the Grand Avenue. Okay, so it's saying that, oh, let me click on that again. So it looks like David Mickelson, if you ever have questions, it tells you the contractor. So it says this section has been milled with the overlays to happen in the coming weeks.
So
On
does
that,
the city, they don't do it themselves, they always get somebody else, because I saw, I think it's Green Construction doing the cement work.
yeah, maybe, on this one, they're saying Staker Parson is the
Well, I can
contractor.
tell you that Staker Parson wasn't doing it.
That's the general contract.
Right.
Oh,
the
okay.
subcontractor
Might be
would have been Green.
subcontractor, okay. But if you have questions, they've got, it looks like phone number for the contractor and phone number for the project lead, who is David Mickelson.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Hey, Rachel, can you hear me now? I don't know what. Yeah,
Yes.
I made a really funny joke and nobody laughed, and I thought, oh, that fell flat, and then I realized nobody can hear me. So, but I do just want to say, I love the engagement that we have in our district, and I've met with many of you guys over the last, 3.5 years now, and just amazing group of people that we have in Grandview, Rivergrove, North Park, Carterville. I wanted to say a special thanks to all those who have advocated in Grandview for getting those roads done and some of those ADA sidewalk. The ADA to me was really important. I was super excited to see those finally be getting done, those ADA ramps. When I was knocking doors, when I was campaigning, I think on Grandview, things I heard about most was 1750 and 1500. We got to get those repaired, redone. On the west side, I heard a lot about a grocery store. We need a grocery store. 820, I heard all about, or Rivergrove, North Park, I heard all about 800, 820. I kind of made it my mission, at least, before the end of my term here, that I wanted to get some of this stuff done. So I'm really excited to see the city coming through on some of these things. But I have to say, it's really the engagement of the people that makes this stuff happen. And it's so cool to be part of a district where people are so engaged and so informed and just working hard to make things happen. So I just want to say thank you all for being such an amazing district to work with. That's all, Rachel. I won't say my joke because, now I'm nervous it really won't fly. So we'll just end on that.
Thank you, Councilor Hoban.
Thank you. And thanks to all of you, and just keep talking to your city council, talk to us, let's get this done. And thank you very much for being here, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.